You sit in a conference room. The vendor's AI categorizes every sample ticket perfectly, in real time, right in front of you. It looks flawless. But that choreographed presentation tells you almost nothing about how the tool will perform once it is wired into your actual business. On the left, you see the clean dashboard of a typical vendor demo, but run against 500 live company tickets, accuracy plummeted to 68%. The model collapsed because production environments are fractured webs of typos, slang, multi-issue threads, and unseen context. This gap between the demo and the deployment environment is driving a massive industry stall. Right now, 78% of organizations are running AI pilots. Only 14% have successfully scaled them to production. Most of those stalled projects share a specific pattern. They were evaluated using checklists designed for static software, rather than models that evolve based on the data they touch. The traditional software buying motion is highly predictable. You build a feature matrix, compare standard pricing, check a security box, and sign the contract. But AI systems process sensitive business data using probabilistic models that you do not fully control. The risk profile is completely different. Standard RFPs aren't built to ask where your data is actually being routed, or whether your private business information is quietly defaulting into a third-party training pool. In fact, a standard IT RFP misses up to 60% of the risk-relevant questions specific to AI procurement. Prioritizing speed by using those old frameworks means your deployment will hit a wall the moment legal and security realize they don't have the compliance documentation for where the data actually goes. To find a system that actually survives production, you have to move past the slide deck and interrogate the underlying operational model. When you ask where data is processed, it's encrypted is often a deflection. That doesn't tell you where the processing happens, or if your information is being used to train the vendor's models. If they can't give a specific location, that's your first cue to walk away. Then there's the slide with a CRM logo. Unless you see a live, working demo of your specific integration, you are likely just funding their R&D timeline as part of your implementation. Costs also become a moving target when vendors price by AI credit or API calls. Without a worked example based on your actual company volume, your production budget can spike uncontrollably. Skipping these details might get your pilot approved faster, but it leaves you vulnerable to massive budget overruns and compliance violations once the tool goes live. You also need to know how the system handles a scenario it has never seen before. Ask the vendor to show you a live example of the system failing. A vendor who cannot explain their failure modes clearly hasn't tested their system seriously. Often, this is a sign you're looking at a thin wrapper over an open source model, rather than a custom-built solution. Data lock-in is another hidden hurdle. If you cannot extract your information in a standard format, the price of switching becomes the massive cost of retraining your entire workforce around one vendor's specific workflow. To see past the sales veneer, bypass the account executives. Demand to meet the actual delivery team, who will be responsible for the implementation after you sign. Introducing friction into the sales meeting is the most reliable way to separate a vendor with genuine production experience from one who can only present well. There is one evaluation test that carries more weight than any question on your list. You must force the vendor system to run on your organization's actual unfiltered data. You have to refuse the vendor's pre-cleaned demo dataset. You also have to reject any sanitized data your own internal team prepared just to make the pilot look successful. This chart maps out exactly how to predict deployment success. The horizontal axis tracks data cleanliness, from highly curated to totally messy. The vertical axis measures how well the test predicts actual success. Vendor demo data sits entirely in the bottom left. It is completely clean and practically useless for predicting real-world performance. Unfiltered internal data sits in the top right, highly chaotic but highly predictive. Accepting that friction yields higher certainty. Doing this correctly requires effort. A proper evaluation using real data typically takes 6 to 10 weeks of internal work just to sandbox the information securely. While that upfront effort is heavy, spending a single afternoon testing messy data is the definitive action that ensures you actually land in the 14% of successful deployments. If you are an individual buying a $20 a month personal productivity tool, you can afford to skip this rigorous evaluation. The stakes are low enough to take a chance. But if you are an enterprise decision maker, routing sensitive customer data or internal intellectual property, running a standard software procurement process is effectively professional negligence. Keep in mind, vendors showing you pristine demos aren't necessarily being malicious. They are just operating within the standard software sales business model. Your objective in this process isn't to find a flawless, magical AI system that never makes a mistake. That system does not exist. The ultimate goal of this 6-week stress test is to find a credible vendor. You want a partner who can confidently navigate their own flaws, explain their failures, and handle the messy reality of your business.